Let's take a look at Canada's reaction to the strikes on Iran, because this is quite fascinating. Mark Carney is in kind of a tough spot, but there's a few things to cover here. Let's take a look.
So reaction does continue to come in from Canadian officials following the strikes in Iran, including from Prime Minister Mark Carney. He spoke earlier today in Mumbai, where he is on a trade mission. Carney says Canada supports the actions taken by the United States. Have a listen.
Canada's position on the developments in the Middle East remains clear. The Islamic Republic of Iran is the principal source of instability and terror throughout the Middle East. It has one of the world's worst human rights records and must never be allowed to obtain or develop nuclear weapons. Canada supports the United States acting to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon and to prevent its regime from further threatening international peace and security. And the Canadian government urges the protection of all civilians in this conflict.
So that was a little bit.
So we'll come back to this, but if we go to X, some of the elbows up crowd did not like that. This person, his petty words in Davos were for the crowd. This is reacting to this Mark Carney statement. I'm just going to read the bottom here. Canada supports the United States acting to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon and to prevent its regime from further threatening international peace and security. The Canadian government urges the protection of all civilians in this conflict. Okay. There were other people not happy with Mark Carney's stance. Rachel Gilmore, of course, one of the most far-left lunatics there is in the country. I will just read a bit of it here, but you see, she says, misinterpreted Carney's Davos speech, and then we got duped, folks. We heard what we wanted to hear, not what he actually intended. That may have been his intent. It's okay to admit it. Even some people in America are pointing out that maybe the Carney Davos speech doesn't match up with his recent statements on Iran. This is Ryan Grimm, an American left-wing person for sure, says, Mark Carney, who awed the world with his speech about the rules-based order and his opposition to American belligerence, says he supports this new attack on Iran. Okay, and I'm going to get back to this video, but I'm going to skip ahead quite a bit just to see what Poilievre said in the aftermath of these strikes on Iran.
It wasn't long after the Prime Minister made a statement that we heard from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, who weighed in. What did he say?
He's put a post out on social media. He called the Iranian regime the principal source of terror in the Middle East and around the world. The Conservatives have long been very vociferous about their concerns about the Iranian regime, not holding back at all in how they talk about that regime. He expressed support for what he called the principled and courageous people of Iran to topple the regime, so being more pointed there than what we heard from the Prime Minister. He also said Conservatives support the United States, Israel, and our allies across the Gulf to defend their sovereignty and dismantle the clerical military dictatorship of Iran. Again, the Conservatives have long been very pointed in their criticism of the Iranian regime, and we are seeing that reflected today in this statement that's been posted online by Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre.
This will be interesting to follow in the days to come, because a lot of people in the media are now going to have to balance elbows up, Trump derangement syndrome, and Carney's explicit support for America in this moment. It's going to be kind of fun to see, because I think the media, for the first time maybe in a year, will have a real challenge on their hands about how to cover what is happening in Iran. NDP, not impressed. They had a statement much different than the Liberals and the Conservatives. I'll just read a little bit of this here. The NDP deplores the Carney government's decision to blindly support this dangerous venture by Israel and Donald Trump's administration. We want Canada to be a voice for diplomacy, peace, and international law. Other people too. I mean, this account, whatever this is, we condemn Mark Carney's unequivocal support for illegal U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran, sabotaging negotiations in favor of regime change. This is weak at Mark Carney. Very weak. Bad political calculation and a massive misread of where Canadians are at. Supporting U.S./Israel military aggression is un-Canadian. This person should change the name of their account. This is like a radical leftist lunatic that runs an account called Polling Canada. Why are we applauding the Americans and Israelis attacking a nation that didn't attack them? I'll play this part now because it's actually kind of sad. I'll play maybe a little bit of this clip. Maybe I'll play the entire thing. We will see, but I won't give it away. We'll just watch it.
Is there ever a conversation about whether, if this carries on, if Canada could be asked to contribute in some fashion?
Well, it would be very difficult, I think, at the moment for Canada to contribute beyond what it's doing, mostly because of the personnel shortage, but also, too, we had some figures that came out before when the defense.
I mean, isn't that just a sad state of affairs? The personnel shortage. And it's sad, but for a bunch of reasons, it makes sense that Canada would have a tough time with recruitment right now. Again, that is just very sad.
Investment strategy was.
But I mean, still, of course, massive props, massive respect to the people that still do that. I certainly think you are heroes.
The Defense Industrial Strategy, was released that showed only 42% of the Air Force at the moment is serviceable or ready to fly and fight, I guess is the best way to put it. And the Air Force would, as been talking all day long, this is an air campaign that's taking place over Iran. And the CF-18s themselves are old, and they might not be suitable for going up against Iran's air defense system. So the Canadian military is limited in what it can contribute at this time. As I was saying earlier, most of the army is engaged in Latvia at the moment. Canada has only one frigate that is attached to a NATO task force right now. That's HMCS Charlottetown. That is, but they're there as part of Operation Reassurance. So whether or not they could be moved over to contribute, it's doubtful. And I mean, as it stands right now, from the figures, roughly.
Look, this is why Mark Carney and Poilievre had appropriate statements. This is all Canada can do. Even if one of them wanted to have a different point of view, you really can't. Canada does not have the military might, the economic might to do anything other than support America.
The Navy is pretty much in the best shape in terms of readiness. 68% of the Navy is ready to sail and to fight if necessary. So if this does drag on, it's unlikely that you're going to see a lot of Canadian hard military power put in place.
Jeez, man. And okay, I'll finish my video here with this post from Table Salt. Massive crowds appear in Ottawa, Canada's capital, according to Table Salt, thanking President Trump for his support in eliminating the Iranian regime. I mean, I don't think that's happened yet. But the supreme leader reportedly is dead.
We are getting information from Israeli sources that the Ayatollah is dead. This is breaking news again coming from Israeli sources.
Pretty interesting stuff. Definitely will be a story to follow because, as I said, it'll be interesting to see how the Canadian media deals with this. They're going to have to balance elbows up, Trump derangement syndrome, and, I mean, Mark Carney explicitly supporting President Trump in at least today. But anyway, with that said, I'll finish my video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day.